She's moving on and you don't want to. I know the feeling. That anxiety, that fear, the emptiness. It's that sick, sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach. You want to sleep life away. Can you recover from this? And if so, and how long? Life has just kicked you in the balls. Today we're going to discuss grief and how to cope with a broken heart for men. How you handle a breakup in many ways will define your manhood. Will you be graceful? Will you grow with the experience? Will you forgive and be a better person for the next long-term relationship? Know that this is not your end, but rather your new beginning. The key strategy will be to change your paradigm from victim to badass. You just have to find yourself again. So let's start revving that engine. For men, there's a double standard. Grieving for an ex is not manly. We see it as weakness. You reach out to your friends and it becomes a nuisance. You're boring or weak-minded. There's no chapter in our bro code that covers a breakup because as guys, we don't know how to respond. Yet data shows that although guys are less prone to suffer, when we do suffer, we don't recover as well. I started writing and wordsmithing this episode before ever realizing my channel because I had to get it right. I spoke with relationship experts, psychologists, and even psychiatrists. I interviewed and have personally spent countless hours speaking to men either grieving towards their breakup or their inevitable breakup. And let me tell you, you're not alone and you're not weak. You're human and it's normal. I think what hurts the most was realizing how insignificant we have become to the person that we cared about the most. But the sooner you get over the relationship, the easier it will be to forgive yourself and to move forward. This episode will be divided into two portions. The first part is the not so easy stuff, and much of what I say falls under the Greek philosophy of Stoicism. It's about what you must do despite not wanting to. Then we're going to move into more of the silly stuff in order to move forward, the easy stuff. Listen to this part, please, because it's very important. If you're still in a relationship and going through the breakup, you need to ask yourself if it's love or if it's limerence. This is important because you have to ask if the relationship is worth saving. We all know what love is. Limerence, however, is something much more different. You can think of limerence as an addiction to someone, an emotional dependence, an obsessive-compulsive thought. If you've ever seen the movie Casino, with Sharon Stone's character, she plays an extreme case of limerence, with James Woods being the limerent object. But only you can answer that question. And if it is limerence, you're not in a healthy relationship. You need to get the fuck out. But that's about as easy as telling an alcoholic to stop drinking or to drink in moderation. First recommendation is have a change in your timeline paradigm. Here's where you are. You're still in the past. Your ex has had a long time contemplating leaving you, and it's been months to years in the process. Your job, like it or not, is to move immediately forward here, to think ahead. See, I was given a gift. When I found out of my wife's infidelity, the person that told me everything also had the guy's information as he shared it with her. My ex had been planning on leaving me since early 2017. She was no longer involved in our marriage, but since I wasn't aware of this, I kept fighting a war of attrition. She had more than 2 years to put our marriage beyond her. I, however, was still stuck in the relationship. I had to play catch up. Get in front of the problem. See a doctor. When the writing was on the wall regarding my breakup, the first thing I did was see my physician. Antidepressants take weeks to months to kick in. I knew that I was in a gonorrhea of shit, and if I didn't take care of the situation, I was going to fall into a deep depression. My physician said that it was a smart idea because he's seen many good people fall apart before they knew it. And then they had to play catch up. Don't let that happen to them. I stopped taking them a while ago, but I know that it worked. The next thing I would say is get tired. Guys, I'm not messing around here. The number one thing you can do for yourself is do cardio. Like now. I mean, right now. I'd rather you stop this video and start kicking your own ass by working out. Like, subscribe, and press the bell button, and then get out and get tired by hitting the gym or the park. And don't walk, don't jog, but sprint. Do my HIIT video. The mental clarity you get is immediate. You probably don't want to, and I'm sure. That's because you're stressed. But that's exactly when you need it the most. It just takes one step. Go change and start running around kicking the soccer ball like this idiot. Give yourself a timeline and intensity level to the grief. What I mean by that is, know that you're going to go through one of the worst experiences of your life. Channel that. I expected to hurt for 2 years. I also made a mental note of how intense my anxiety level was. So when I was hurting real bad, and it was a big one, I put a level of relativity to it. If it was a really bad one, I actually distinctly remember, almost in a masochistic way, going through the pain and feeling almost grateful that if it was a big one, that was the worst that it was going to get. The scary part is that we don't know how long it's going to last, and that's why it's important to give yourself a timeline. I gave me 2 years to suffer. Now you're probably thinking, Rene, you just gave yourself 2 years and it's been just over a year. Well, let's say that my method worked better than expected. Allow me to articulate. I was in a bad, abusive marriage, and realizing how dysfunctional it was, and realizing that I really didn't matter to her, gave me a level of knowledge that taking her back, I'd never be able to see myself in the mirror and like who I see. It's important that you find yourself, but a more updated version of who you are. For me, it was the reintroducing of fashion, fitness, and of course, my dating. I feel that these are some of the most important building blocks in developing growth on the outside. But there's also inner growth as well, like meditation and self-development. You're always growing. Find your passion and volunteer it. I didn't know at the time, but when I started this channel, that was my way of giving. My videos are about something bigger than me. It's about men being comfortable with their masculinity. Whatever your passion is, channel it and volunteer some of your time. Because giving to others may seem selfless, but in actuality, you also do it for you. And that's okay. Ask for help. I know that you need validation through sharing your pain. You're going to be asking others to hear you out and share what she did to you because you feel like the victim. But remember that timeline I showed you? You're responsible adults who's about to go through their own renaissance. When asking for help, be solution focused. Many guys I've worked with feel stuck. The biggest obstacle you're going to face is the fact that you know you have to let go. But then there's a level of loyalty and accountability towards that person. As men, we want to be protectors, and we want to continue protecting that person. But the quicker you give yourself permission to move forward, the quicker you're going to stop being angry with yourself. Because this I promise, the time will come when you'll be pissed off not only at her, but at yourself as well for letting this happen. Right now, you don't have the mental clarity to see beyond your pain. But work with others that you respect. And I don't mean dwelling on your pain. Use them as a resource to help you mobilize a plan. I use my parents and my brothers. And our relationship is so strong today. As for silly things you can do, these might sound immature, but they worked for me. I changed my ex's caller ID to an unflattering one. Change her name to Hitler or infidel. Something that dissociates her image with her name. If you must communicate, Then use a ringtone that annoys you when she reaches out. Immediately after the breakup, it's going to be hard to hear her name. And I guess that's why it's such a more powerful tool than I thought it was going to be. Now, you're not going to want to do this one, but the best thing you can do is blocking her from social media. You two are no longer accountable to each other. Let me repeat that. It's over. You have a new freedom. You have every right to feel good about yourself. You were in the dark ages. It's time to look in the mirror and smile again. You have a new freedom and are no longer accountable to her. The curiosity is going to be there to look them up. And that's why I say block. Don't unfriend, but block. Because let me repeat it again. You're no longer accountable to her. Now the next part is going to be controversial. Even if you're not ready, try an online dating app. Your self-esteem is at its lowest right now. Mine was. I just got tossed by the person I cared for the most. I was emotionally raped. By joining dating apps, you'll see that there are others interested in you. That you're money. That you're not that piece of shit she told you you were. If you don't know how to do it, watch my creating an online dating profile. What about having sex with someone to get over your ex? I did quite a bit of research here, but there's no data to support this. Relationship experts say that before moving into this phase, it is important to know yourself first. If you're in the no one will ever love me again pit of despair, or if you're feeling unattractive, those could be times when a positive sexual encounter could help you start to move through the feeling. What I can't emphasize enough is that if and when you meet your next lady, and if it leads to sex, don't have sex at someone else's expense. In other words, don't use them. Your life is about to change right now. You have that hopeless feeling, and I know it. Write stuff down about how you feel, where you're at right now, and where you hope to be a year from now. If you feel comfortable, video it so that you can see it a year from now. The biggest thing I can say that helped me was giving myself permission to let go. It was, after all, my decision to make, and no one else's. Please, if you're going through something painful, let me know by writing in the comments section or just reach out. I'm very easy to find. Join my Facebook group under Renaissance Man. Make your renaissance about your growth and development. So that I can help further provide you with additional videos, subscribe to my channel along with pressing the notification bell. That way you're notified when I have a next video, which come weekly. You don't know this, but done correctly, you're going to undergo a wonderful new journey. Love. As a matter of fact, I asked my brother to come over here and see the recording because this guy has been my freaking rock. Look at this. Oh my God, you're so tall. I'm not short, guys. It's just this guy is so tall. And ladies, if you're watching, he's taken. Well, what do you think about when I first got the divorce?
I was happy.
Okay, well,
I was glad. And then, I wasn't happy that you were going through that, but I knew you'd land on your feet and in a much, much better place. So